Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here.
Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel Di Lorenzo.
Wait, what did you say?
Dana Di Lorenzo.
Have a good one.
You guys better subscribe and watch my friend on his YouTube channel. He is kicking ass.
I used to listen to people asking for help. That's what I was trying to do, was help people. But I was fooling myself. Darkness only responds to darkness. I'm Daredevil. I have made many mistakes, but I accept the debt I'm paying because of them.
Prison has changed me.
What is it you're saying? I want to make a deal. He's claiming to have changed, but they don't know him like I do. The last time that we spoke, you threatened me.
That is something that I cannot forgive.
I'll stop him for good this time.
There's only one way to stop me, but you're not going to do it.
You sure about that?
Just be careful that you don't become the monster.
Because I've tried to make this city a better place. I will tell the world who you really are. Someone who's now showing his true colors.
Sometimes you have to hurt one person for the greater good.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to give you my thoughts on Daredevil Season 3.
City needs a new villain. I think I might have found him.
Daredevil is our true public enemy.
According to eyewitnesses, the brutal attack has been carried out by none other than Daredevil.
Who are you? I'm Daredevil.
Yep, Daredevil Season 3 just dropped a couple weeks ago now, and I took my time. I'm usually not the type to just binge watch something and finish it within like a day especially, or like a couple days. Now that I don't enjoy things, it's just that I sort of like taking my time and making it last, because especially when a lot of these Netflix releases are fairly spread out. And I sort of like to take time, take everything in, and just sort of savor it and take in every little moment and everything. So that's how I prefer watching it. Of course, sometimes I watch like a couple episodes in a row, maybe that's about the max. But yeah, so Daredevil Season 3, I've been looking forward to it for a while, like I'm sure many of you have. And I gotta say, I loved it. I thought it was a very, very good season. Of course, continuing off from the Defenders, we see Matt Murdock in a very broken place, questioning if his faith has been worth it, what his meaning is, if it's all been wrong, and there's a lot of deep sort of character-driven beats here hit in the first episode, especially by the first few, really. And I think Charlie Cox did a wonderful job with it. This is easily the best season for Matt Murdock himself. And again, Charlie Cox just did an excellent job with that. And I've seen some people picking at the slow pace of the first couple episodes. I swear all people want is action, action, action. But really, I think it mixed, again, the best character-driven stuff in the show from Matt Murdock, as well as some of the most intense action we've gotten in the entire series when it came to, like the Poindexter fights. But yeah, before I get a little bit further into it, and also Kingpin is, he actually gets the name Kingpin in this season, but of course Fisk is scheming to get out and slowly kind of maneuvers through the FBI and everything like that. Just absolutely brilliant, and just the pacing of the season is also just great, and Vincent D'Onofrio, he is perfect as Wilson Fisk. He plays off the layers to the character really well, the menace, how imposing he is, but at the same time you kind of feel for him at times too. It makes you almost like want to spin off or want to see him succeed in some way. And I think like movies and shows included, I think Fisk and Thanos are by far the best films we've ever gotten in the MCU in general. I did quite like Billy Russo from the Punisher season as well, but I think Fisk and Thanos are it for me. But yeah, so he's a great presence to have again. This has been building for a while with him coming back out, and I think it paid off overall very well this season. But before we get even further into the video, I did also want to talk about earlier this year, back in April, I went to C2E2, where I had the great chance to meet Charlie Cox, of course, Matt Murdock, Daredevil himself, and honestly, just one of the best people I've ever met. Very nice, very humble, down to earth, appreciative of his fans, very dedicated to his work. He had just flown to Chicago after a Dallas convention. Again, just very nice, very talkative and open, and just really one of the greatest people I've ever met, really, and it just made me appreciate his work even more after having such a great experience with him in person. And yeah, so I am partial to the Punisher storyline in season 2 because John Bernthal being one of my favorite actors of all time. So I feel like I still have a bit of a soft spot for season 2 overall. But as I kept saying, this is the best season for Matt Murdock himself, and for the Daredevil side of things, I think the show is definitely at its best in this season. Again, just the pacing of it, you really feel the urgency and sort of the building tension throughout because of Fisk's plans coming together and sort of Poindexter's descent into insanity. And I think that's overall explored fairly well this season. I think Poindexter made for a pretty good villain, of course, sort of pre-Bullseye, I guess. This show better get a season 4, by the way, because I know they canceled Iron Fist and Luke Cage, but luckily Punisher and Jessica Jones had already filmed their next seasons. But at this point, if Daredevil gets canceled, we know there's something else up. It's not because of something doing so poorly. There's got to be something else up if Daredevil gets canceled. But if it does, it's going to be awful because we need to see another season with this Poindexter guy to see him like full-on Bullseye. But here he was pretty good as well, often taking the reins as this imposter Daredevil for Fisk, as Fisk sort of breaks into his psyche and plays on that and everything. Which is really, they do share some good scenes together, and I think the actor playing Poindexter did a good job. Although I feel like at times I was a bit disinterested, sometimes I felt like they stretched out the material with him just a bit, and I didn't feel as connected, I guess. But don't get me wrong, he still had a great presence to him, and that scene in the office in episode 6, you really feel the danger. Matt can potentially vest him hand-to-hand, but it's a really hard fight, and just to have the danger of him being so good with any ranged objects, you really felt, again, that urgency. Now, there's a number of great fight scenes in the season. That office scene in episode 6, probably the most intense, but then there's a church fight scene towards the end of the season in the last few episodes. I think it's one of the best of the whole show. and how it culminates with Fisk as well. It's a great sequence. And of course, you have to talk about their new sort of one shot, or like when Matt Murdock's in the prison. And overall, I'd probably say it's the best one they've done so far. Just how it goes from Matt, seeing how emotive he is, to sort of going back into another fight sequence. It's just really well filmed, of course, and you can't really forget scenes like that whenever they do them. And just how determined Matt was, and how hell-bent he was on putting down Fisk, and how Fisk affects his psyche, I thought was really well played on as well throughout the season. And of course, you also got more concentration on Karen in the season as well, which is fine. Deborah Ann Wool does a really nice job. And you get an episode actually called Karen, which is almost like a solo flashback episode. Although at the end of the episode we get that great church fight scene, like I said. And I thought her story was pretty good, I did like it. I've seen some people complaining that they didn't want a whole episode dedicated to her, but I thought it was necessary because there's a lot we haven't known about Karen for some time in full, so I thought it was needed, and I enjoyed it. And also, we don't know what happened to Elektra either. They didn't say anything about finding another body, but they just presume, she didn't make it out of there, but Matt sort of just got swept through and everything. I don't think she is. I think if the show gets another season or two, we'd see her again at some point. Maybe as soon as season 4, but yeah, I think Elektra is still out there, which is good for me, because I actually support Elektra and Matt over Matt and Karen, honestly, but we'll see where that goes. So yeah, overall, I think this is a great season, and I'm rating it an A. It was that good. Probably overall the best season of Daredevil that they've had so far. But again, I just sort of sometimes feel partial to the great Punisher stuff in season 2. But overall, I think this season was a little more consistent in terms of its pacing and sort of its story focus. I think it was superior here. And overall, it's just the best season of the Netflix Marvel shows. Again, I have a soft spot for season 2 of Daredevil. Season 1 of The Punisher is very good as well, and I have very high hopes for season 2 of that. But until then, I think this may be it. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about Daredevil Season 3. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.